This is the Mulligan Stew Podcast. I'm Terry David Mulligan. On a rainy, smoky Saturday afternoon this past August, we hosted a special edition of Mulligan Stew live from the Edmonton Folk Music Festival. The festival headliner that evening was legendary musician, singer, songwriter, composer, producer, and multi-instrumentalist Ry Cooder. And backing Ry that night was his longtime percussionist and collaborator, his son, Joachim Cooder. At age 4, Joachim was given his first drum kit by family friend Jim Keltner. The truth be known, he stole the drum kit. Keltner left it there when he was rehearsing with Ry, and the kid put it in his room. He moved it to his bedroom. This is the same Jim Keltner, the legendary session drummer who has backed John Lennon, George Harrison. He noticed the interest that Joachim had in his drum kit and the rhythms that he was playing. At the age of 19, Joachim Cooder, a scholar of Latin percussion, performed as part of the rhythm section on the debut Grammy-winning recording by the Buena Vista Social Club. Rolling Stone has called that record one of the 500 greatest albums of all time. Joachim's first solo album, Love on a Real Train, was released in 2012, but the LA-based musician considers his latest EP, Fuchsia Machu Picchu, to be his first true solo effort. With his custom-made mbera on hand, he set to work on a record that showcased his own lyrical and vocal talents. You're about to hear about Joachim's decision to take that step into the spotlight, how important it was, from being a celebrated percussionist and producer to being a frontman in his own right. CKUA's Grant Stovall and I talked to Joachim about finding his voice with Fuchsia Machu Picchu. It's a story that begins with an unexpected muse, captured live from the Edmonton Folk Fest. Here's music and conversation with Joachim Cooder. Joachim Cooder has joined us, father, son, songwriter, producer, multi-instrumentalist, percussionist, husband.
Husband, yes. All those. You're right on all fronts so far.
Have you added anything else to that list?
No, that's everything. That's everything I've been working on right there.
Listen, you're approaching your 40th birthday, and
that's right.
And I'm wondering
August 23rd. It's fast approaching.
I wonder if you have just now found your voice.
Well, I never thought I would sing or write songs or any of it until I became a dad, and I have a 3-year-old daughter and then a 4-month-old son, and it wasn't until my wife became pregnant and that I started even considering, because I've always been a drummer and a accompanist or a producer, doing things for other people.
Yep.
And something switched. I was living in Nashville for a bit, and something just. This thing, I played this crazy mbira, and the guy who makes it electrified it, and then everything changed. So it was a combination of a bunch of things.
And mbira, we see, even as souvenirs when people come back from Africa,
yeah.
A little thumb pianos, so to speak.
Yeah.
And for them, I mean, that's an instrument. That is a serious instrument, especially where they're made. You have now taken it how far up the ladder?
He went all the way to space with this thing. I wish I could take credit for it, but it's something that I've played for about 20 years, but now that it's electrified, everything changed.
And where did the vocals come in? Did you feel that it needed vocals?
It wasn't something that I consciously started doing. I first started singing just to this little plant I planted out in the yard, and I just started doing it over and over again. It's called the Fuchsia Machu Picchu. And it's a fuchsia variety called a Fuchsia Machu Picchu. I'd never heard of it before, but when I saw it, I said, that should be our first plant in our new house. And then I just started singing to it outside, and kind of like almost a joke, but sort of serious for the plant. But that's as far as I got.
Did the plant give you a standing ovation, or did it care?
It just needed all the help. We have no rain. This is very rare for us. We live in LA, Northeast LA. It's dry, it's smoggy. There's freeways everywhere, and it's just a little plant needed all the help it could get.
Rather than talk about the Mbiri, let's please play a tune for us, and then it'll all be understated.
Should I do Fuchsia Machu Picchu?
Yeah, the title track to the album.
It's such an intro, and then to not do it just wouldn't seem right.
Okay.
All right. This is Fuchsia Machu Picchu. Fuchsia Machu Picchu, when will you come and set down roots? 'Cause it's hot in that city, but don't you let that get to you. Fuchsia Machu Picchu, when will you come and set down your little roots? 'Cause it's hot in that city. Tonight's a super moon. Oh no. And your red light shining. Said your red light shining down. Your red light shining. Said your red light shining down. All over this here land. Fuchsia Machu Picchu, when will you grow 10 feet tall now? There's a mean sun hanging in the sky, and you could bring shade to us all. Fuchsia Machu Picchu, baby, when will you come and set down your little roots? 'Cause it's hot in that city. Tonight's a super moon. Oh no. And your red light shining. Said your red light shining down. Your red light shining. Said your red light shining down. Your red light shining. Said your red light shining down. All over this here lane. All over this here lane. All over this here lane, 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 lane.
Joachim Cooder.
Thank you guys. Oh my God, look. There's more people than before. Is it still raining? It is. You guys are amazing. I can't believe that you're all standing there in the rain.
They came a long way. I saw you on Vancouver Island at the Folk Festival in Courtney Comox. You've been on the road ever since with your father, Ry. Tell me about exposure to music. You walk by a stage and you hear someone you've never heard before. Are you picking up sounds? What's it do to your heartbeat?
Yeah, I think, growing up, I went with him. I'm an only child, so I went with him. My mom and I traveled with him to a bunch of festivals. We came here, actually, when I was, I don't know how old I was, really very small. Well, I don't think I was that small, but I was smaller. And, regional blues festivals, things where, and this is a different era now. This is pre-internet, so which sort of changed everything, because before you would see something coming from one little, you'd go to the Atlanta Blues Festival and you would see some band that just does this thing from their little town that has nothing to do with the outside world, and they play backwards and everything's and it's this beautiful sound they're making, and you can't figure out how they're doing it. And I think being around that kind of stuff really made an impression on me. Obviously, being around Ali Farka Touré and seeing that, just being around those kind of people was very, made a big impression on me as a young boy.
Well, this is a good summer for you then. Take me back, if you would, because I talked about Buena Vista Social Club most of my broadcasting life. And what is your lasting memory of those people and that time and that event? What stays with you?
Well, the first thing was just how much of a fluke the whole thing was, because it was none of it was supposed to. The thing that was supposed to happen was these West African musicians were supposed to come, and then there was going to be this Cuba, West Africa kind of combo concept that Nick Gold, the World Circuit guy, had in mind. But then they didn't get their visas, but nobody knew that till we got there. And so then it was the day of the recording, they just put the word out to find some people, and then those guys walked out of, just came up the road, and it became that huge thing. So that was insane. And then I think just that their musical generosity is a word, because it was all like, they didn't know who I was, and I had my weird goofy things, and they said they were, what am I trying to say?
Well, you were a teenager too, right? Like, what were we talking, like 16, 17 or something like that?
Yes, 1996 or 95. I was probably 19 or 18.
So how crazy was that for you? Like, I mean, that must have been mind-blowing. All of a sudden, you're making music with these legends of, like, 1950s Cuban jazz.
Yeah, and they didn't, like I'm saying, they didn't know who I was or what I was doing, but they liked my funny sounds, and it made them laugh, and it was this very easy thing that just happened. It took 2 weeks, and then it went off into this wild thing.
How did the music you made in the studio transfer to the stage for you?
What I'm doing now?
What you doing now? Because in Courtney Comox, you had, of course, your guitarist with you.
Yeah.
Have you done it with a fuller band, or has it always been a one or two?
I've done it as a 4-piece.
Okay.
But this saxophone player that you saw, he plays sax and guitar. I just randomly met at a party. I wish he was here, but his sister got married, so he missed these 2 shows. But he really changed my live thing. But we can't really talk about it because nobody can hear it, so it's not.
Okay.
Not, but I wanted to do something that I could just do by myself if need be, because usually in the past I've always done things with so many people, and that's just unrealistic and too expensive. And so I can do this by myself. I can get by.
Go ahead, Grant.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this record. It's so beautiful. I want to ask, after telling us that story about the title tune, and what a gorgeous song. Did you guys hear that song? Wasn't that amazing?
You guys.
So the song Fuchsia Machu Picchu. You started off singing this song. You started off singing to this tiny little plant, Fuchsia Machu Picchu. So I'm desperate to know, how's the plant doing?
The plant's doing good.
Come on.
All right.
The plant is.
Do you have any photos?
Flourishing. No, I don't have. I should. I was thinking I should have just a little plant on stage and say, and here it is. But then people would think about the time frame and be like, how is it still so small?
No, trying to declare
in a
that
pot?
at the border.
That's
right.
true.
Yes, I have this plant.
I didn't think about
declare.
that.
Yeah.
Can't mess with the border people.
All right. You're going to walk on stage tonight Ry is on stage at 9:30 tonight, probably in a rainstorm. You're going to join him on stage. After all of the time that you spend on stage, well, actually in studio, just being your dad, what happens to him when he walks out? Do you see the same guy, or does something happen as he walks out there?
That's an interesting question. I think when I was younger, I used to think something was happening because when I was 5 and I would see him go, you would feel like that there was like a train leaving the station and you weren't on it. I was watching the crowd and him, and I felt no longer part of, Well, that reminds me, my daughter, when she came to see, she cried. It was so upsetting to see me play, because at that moment I wasn't focused on her completely. And she went crazy. And
It's a humbling
I had
experience.
I had to stop the show, but it was fine. But my point is, I knew what she was thinking because I felt the same thing when I was younger. But now there is none of that. Like, I don't cry.
Is there a favorite moment
In the show?
Well, because the set being what it is.
I mean, there's the band is really wild, and there's some exciting moments. Some of his older songs, which I haven't heard in a while, like "The Very Thing That Makes You Rich makes me poor."
Yes.
And then Sam, my sax player, plays a bass sax and takes this crazy solo, and everybody goes crazy.
I want to get your last song in here, but I just want one more thing. Do you know what you want to do down the road?
No, I mean, at one point I started apprenticing a chef, and
Nice.
I thought maybe I'll do this, but then I realized I'm almost 40, and if you start first of all, you'll make no money apprenticing a chef, and then it'll be a long time before, and then so I gave that up.
What was your
and
best?
now I'm back to doing music.
What was your best dish?
Well, I wasn't even. I mean, I was I was like prep. I was chopping things downstairs.
Sous
Like
chef,
nobody
yeah,
ever
okay.
saw me. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I wasn't even the sous chef.
Oh, my
sous
God.
chef is way above
Oh,
me.
my God.
Yeah, it's very regimented. You can't.
You're on the right job path. Way to go.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Last tune.
Yeah, I was thinking, being the folk fest and all. I been playing this banjo player, Uncle Dave Macon. Do you know? So I find that the banjo stuff works really well on this. So I thought I would do one of his songs called "Morning Blues."
I like this song. You did this. Yes, thanks.
All right, and it's good for like a rainy Edmonton day, smoky rainy day.
Joachim Cooder.
Been in business and I've been in love. Used to fly high like a turtle dove. Had the blues many a time. Just a woman on a poor man's mind. I got the morning blues. Oh, so bad. Honey, come and kiss me, it's the worst I ever had. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Find me a woman that a man can trust. A dime's worth of grease and a nickel worth of lard. I would buy more, but the times are so hard. I got the morning blues. Oh, so bad. Honey, come and kiss me, it's the worst I ever had. What's the use of me working so hard? I got a woman in the rich folks' yard. She brings me meat and she brings me pie. Bring me some of everything the rich folks buy. I got the morning blues. Oh, so bad. Honey, come and kiss me, it's the worst I ever had.
honey, come and kiss me. It's the worst I ever had. I said, honey, come and kiss me. It's the worst I ever had.
Joachim Cooder.
Thank you. Wow. Look,
Wonderful
there's even
new
more. This is
album.
amazing.
Fuchsia Machu Picchu is out now. Check him out tonight, 9:30 on the main stage with his father.
I'll be playing drums, not this.
And he'll be playing drums. The one and only Joachim Cooder. Thank you so much.
Thank you
man.
guys. Thanks for everybody for
Thank
sticking
you.
around. It's amazing.
The artist Joachim Cooder, son of Ry. His latest EP, Fuchsia Machu Picchu, is available on the Temple of Leaves label. That's all for this week on Mulligan Stew Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Google Play Music, and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to get the latest episodes delivered straight to you each week. They have that new car smell. I'm Terry David Mulligan. Thank you for listening.